Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to my latest video. As any of you who are familiar with my channel, over this last year may know, I'd gone through about 20 Hammer films in this big set that I had purchased in January of 2022. And then I made a video for everyone, and then after that I went through all of the Dracula titles and all of their Frankenstein titles, and then I just needed to take a break for a little while from Hammer. Luckily the holidays were, coming in, so I was able to jump into some more holiday-themed films, mainly ones that were horror mixed with like a holiday aspect. But now we're at the new year, and I'm ready to jump back into some more retro horror, and I ended up right back here at Hammer because actually I really enjoyed a lot of those older films. Even though, some of them were misses, there were a lot that I really enjoyed. So I came across a list of some of the top Hammer films as far as just how well they've been received in general over the decades. And there were several in that set that, in that list that were not in any of the sets that I'd used to create some videos last year. So I figured I would check some of them out. But before we begin, if you enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting that little bell icon to get notifications for when I put up new content. Share the channel around and stick around to the end, as it really does help out quite a bit. Okay, now that all that YouTube stuff is out of the way, I just recently checked out The Devil Rides Out from 1968, starring Christopher Lee, and the synopsis for this is as follows. Devil worshippers plan to convert 2 new victims. That's about the shortest synopsis that I've heard for one of these films, but ultimately, yeah, it pretty much just covers what it's about. But what may seem simple, and admittedly is executed very well. This recommendation may actually be similarly as short, as that synopsis is, because there really isn't a lot going on in this. It isn't very complex in my opinion, but that's not a bad thing. Sometimes simplicity can be very entertaining. So what ultimately comes across and made this film kind of stick with me quite a bit when I watched it earlier this week, besides the expected excellent performance of Christopher Lee and of Charles Gray, who I'm most familiar with from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, playing the criminologist who kind of guides us through many portions of that film, was the overall feel of claustrophobia covered with this slathering of a creepy mystery going on. So maybe it's just me, but when you bring in something biblical in a way, such as this one being about Satan, kind of like what they did with the satanic rites of Dracula as well, and in several non-Hammer films like The Exorcist, let's say. That one really hit me hard when I was younger. And when I was a bit older, Fangoria put out 2 documentaries, and one of them was called Scream Greats Volume 2, Satanism and Witchcraft, and that one gave me nightmares for days. It really, anything along those lines really hits a note with me and sticks with me and makes me feel quite unsettled. And this film plays like that, almost like this long nightmare, as well as these characters themselves throughout this whole ordeal are, they've kind of been up for these long nights, well into the next day, and become exhausted both mentally and physically trying to handle this satanic ritual situation. I actually had, that feeling of this creepy, mysterious exhaustion coming off this dangerous situation, really taking its toll on me as well while watching the film, where I even took a few times to just pause it, go do something else, and then pick it up later. But along with that, these characters get pulled kind of back and forth. There's some trouble going on, they get out of it, that a threat kind of returns, and then, they're able to successfully get away, but it's not quite over. Another altercation comes up before finally, throughout the course of the film, they get everything taken care of and wrapped up by the end. Explosively, actually, and definitively, as they kind of thwarted these plans of these Satanists. By the end, I really did, I really enjoyed this journey, that this film kind of took me on. And I can understand why this film is in that top list of Hammer films, and why, I heard, but I could not find a citation for it, that this was supposedly one of Christopher Lee's favorite Hammer films that he had performed in. So, anyways, it's, there you have it. It's actually a very quick little summary there, but to summarize all these quick little things, Lee is awesome, so is Gray. This is quite the creepy, mysterious, claustrophobic kind of film. There's a lot of back and forth for the characters, and you kind of get pulled along with them on that before you finally get to this resolution as they're trying to stop this ritual of, converting these people, of doing this ritual with these 2 people. But and by the end of it, it actually wraps up to be a very nice, quick, hour and 35-minute ride that's definitely worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this latest entry of mine as I start diving into some more of these Hammer films again. especially sticking around to the end, as it really does help out quite a bit. And I also have some other ones coming out, some other non-horror titles to kind of be mixed in as well. So be sure to, subscribe and hit that bell icon, and I'll see you in the next one.